and we will start the EJ's Space and Rocket review. You two girls, tell your friends. We'll probably get back to playing more games after. After Space News. This one might be a little bit of a long one. We got a lot of stuff to go over. There's a lot of things. A lot of things happened this weekend. So I'll be back in a little bit. And let me get the tunage going, and then we'll go from there. All right. Be back momentarily for Space News. Alrighty. Are we ready? All right. Okay, so turn that off for a second here. All right. How's Brimo? She's okay. I spent the morning taking care of the Brimos. Yeah, I called the doctor and we got all the medications. Got antibiotics and stuff because she was nursing a fever. She's okay now though. She was happy. Happy? Yeah, she's fine. She had a slight fever though. She must have caught something in New York. Or I mean, we've been out and about, so cool pick, Rocket Lab, Sharon Space Symposium. Cool. That's awesome. Speedy recovery, just got released from the hospital yourself. Oh. It wasn't from you. No. Wasn't me. Oh yeah, you don't want to get that Canadian crud there, bud. Vast news and Dawn news. Dude, I have to go through all of this. There is so much. I want to start with the Starship. I want to start with Starship here. There was a Starship All Hands, and I was gonna watch it last night, but chat told me not to, so here we go. Let me just clean up the links because we have a lot of them. I've been stockpiling them basically since yesterday. Yeah, there's a lot of links, man. You know what? I ain't even mad. I ain't even mad. There's the Sierra Space drop pod. I got Vast. We got Delta 4, Eclipse stuff. Yeah. Okay. We'll start with the all hands meeting. And we will go from there. All right. Here. Let's see. English-uenza. Did she start talking with a posh accent? I don't know. No, I don't think. No, she sounded pretty normal to me. All right.
So what I'm going to go through tonight is the overall sort of path to making life multiplanetary. So we're doing a lot of good things at SpaceX. I mean, Starlink is incredible, providing connectivity throughout the world, and also, paying for a lot of what we're doing here. And Falcon 9 is the primary launch vehicle for Earth, just doing more non-SpaceX launches than anything else. And but Starship is Starship is the first design of a rocket that is actually capable of making life multiplanetary, where success is one of the possible outcomes. No rocket before this has had the potential to extend life to another planet.
When was this? This was basically this weekend, dude. Yeah, it was this weekend. This is a Starbase all hands meeting. And there's some really, really big Starship updates in here. So it's from last Thursday. Thank you. Yeah, there's some good stuff in here. So, guys, I just want to watch a video. I haven't seen it. There's a raptor over there. That's the HLS mock-up behind him, yes. So let's get to it.
And I'll sort of wax esoteric here for a minute, because
So,
this may sound
The
sort
other thing
of
is that I'm going to shut up for a little while.
unusual, but when you think about the question of where are the aliens, which I get asked a lot, this is like the Fermi paradox. Where are the aliens? And I've not seen any evidence that there are aliens on Earth. A lot of people think there are aliens on Earth, and I'm like, great, I'd like to meet one. You know, for a while there, when I was getting my green card and everything, it said alien registration card. I'm like, okay. But this question of where are the aliens is, I think, a very profound one, because I'm aware of no evidence of aliens whatsoever, which means that I think we're probably alone. And if you look at the history of Earth, like how long has Earth been around? Assuming that physics is correct, the universe is about 13.8 billion years old. Earth is about 4.5 billion years old. When you think about how old is civilization, I think the right measuring point for civilization, in my view, or a good measuring point, would be the advent of writing. So the first writing is generally considered to be the ancient Sumerians. Where are they now? They died out, but about 5,500 years ago, it was archaic pre-cuneiform. In fact, I suggest it's like an interesting rabbit hole to read about the history of writing. So if you consider, say, like, okay, civilization, I think if you don't have writing, you kind of need writing for civilization. So it's only been around for like a little over 5,000 years out of 4.5 billion years that Earth has been around, and the 13.8 billion years of the universe. So all of human civilization is basically the blink of an eye. It's like just a fraction. It's nothing. And I think that probably means that consciousness is incredibly rare, and perhaps fleeting. It may not last for very long. Because otherwise I think we would have seen aliens, some kind of sign of aliens. I think the most likely explanation is that consciousness is so rare that and does that consciousness actually extend to another planet? Does that consciousness extend to another star system? I mean, ultimately, if we're able to become a spacefaring civilization, a multi-planet species, and ultimately a multi-stellar species, and go out there and explore all these star systems, I think we may find that there are many long-dead one-planet civilizations. And as you've heard me say before, we don't want to be one of those lame one-planet civilizations. I mean, we want to be a multi-planet civilization, ultimately be a multi-stellar civilization, be out there among the stars. Like, you know, make science fiction not fiction forever. Kind of make Star Trek real. So that's why I think that there's a high urgency to making life multiplanetary. Because this is the first time in Earth's 4.5 billion year history that it's been possible to extend life or consciousness beyond Earth. And we've got to do that while civilization is still strong. So that's the overarching goal of the company, is extend life sustainably to another planet. Mars is the only option, really. and to do so ideally before World War III or some kind of bad thing. The key thing is that we need enough people and enough tonnage on Mars such that Mars can survive and continue consciousness even if something were to happen to Earth. Now, I still think, well, obviously, I'm not talking about abandoning Earth or anything like that, and we want Earth to be as good as possible for as long as possible, but there are certain things that may be outside of our control. So we want to just get Mars to be a self-sustaining civilization as quickly as possible. And I think this can be done in around 20 years. So, and this giant Starship factory that we're building is obviously key to that. And the launch sites that we're building here and at the Cape and elsewhere in the future will be key to that. So let's just go through that.
This is the final go, no-go poll for Flight 3 of Starship. Levi 2.
Go.
Stage 1.
Go.
Stage 2.
Go.
Flight directors, go for launch. We have liftoff.
Vehicles pitching downrange. Execute. Vehicle supersonic. Stage separation.
And congratulations, guys, you did that. That's insane. I mean, it looks like CGI. I mean, it's hard to believe that that is unfiltered video. That's just the actual what the camera saw. No filters, no nothing. That's actually what the camera saw, which is insane. So, you know, you're doing incredible work that I think almost no one thought would actually happen. So it's wild that this strange spot, we're basically on a sand spit by the Rio Grande, near the beach. And that is actually the gateway to Mars. Has to be like, if this was a movie, you'd be like, no way. Come on. Too implausible, but it's real. And it's due to you guys. Congratulations. This is a side-by-side of the 3 flights. You can see how thrust to weight improved significantly. So we've made tremendous progress from Flight 1 to Flight 2 to Flight 3.
Yeah, guys, this is a little bit of a
And we've
replay,
got,
but
Flight
yeah,
4
still,
coming up
I haven't
in
seen it yet,
about a
so
month or
you're
so.
getting my actual reaction to this.
And with Flight 4, we should,
what it's
if we
worth.
get, if fate smiles upon us, we'll get through the high heating regime and smash into the ocean at a controlled spot. And then hopefully be able to also do this with the booster, land on essentially a virtual tower. If the landing on the virtual tower with the booster works, then we will actually try with Flight 5 to come back and land on the tower. No.
Called that. I said that
That's
on the last
very
NASA
much a
Space Flight
success-oriented
Live that I
schedule,
did.
but,
I said it.
But it
I
is
said it.
in the realm of
Y'all
possibility.
said I was wrong. I said that.
But I would say, like,
Boom!
the odds of us actually being able
Boom!
to catch the booster with the Mechazilla arms this year, I think, I don't want to tempt fate, knock on wood, but I think the odds of actually catching the booster with the tower, probably like 80, 90% this year. Which is insane. Like, actually, when we first talked about it, it sounded so batshit crazy. We're gonna have a giant, it's like literally bigger than Mechazilla from this movie. That you'd catch like the biggest flying object ever made with mechanical arms out of the air. But we're gonna do it. So, yeah. It may not work, necessarily the first time, but it will work.
What? Wait, what
So
was
really,
that?
Starship is really the key to making life multiplanetary and preserving the light of consciousness. That's what it's all about. And it may end up being the most important thing that we ever do. I think that like the light of consciousness is like this tiny candle in a vast darkness, and that candle has only been lit for a very short time, and it could easily go out. So we obviously want to preserve the tiny light of consciousness on Earth, but extend it to Mars, and then ultimately to the rest of the solar system, and then start going to other star systems. And I mean, I won't be alive to see that, but unless I'm like frozen or something, I don't know. But I think at some point we will discover many civilizations that maybe lasted 1 million years, or 2 million years, or 10 million years. But a civilization that lasted 1 million years, which would be, vastly longer than our civilization has lasted.
Cryo Musk. Cryo
I mean,
Musk.
that's only
Dr.
the
Freeze.
third decimal point. So like 13.8 billion something years. If your civilization lasts 1 million years, it's only goes, that third digit past the decimal point goes up 1. And that's 1 million years. So,
Numbers.
I mean, I'd say, like, we should think of, like, how do we make civilization last 1 million years? We often get caught up in, like, the day-to-day things, but we want to have at least 1 million-year civilization, if not 100 million-year civilization, or 1 billion-year civilization. So, absolutely crucial to that goal is becoming a multi-planet species. People often ask why Mars. Well, there's not a lot of options, frankly.
And before he says it's a fixer-upper.
Venus is a superheated, high-pressure acid bath. So, not what you don't want to go to Venus. And then the Moon is close, but it doesn't have an atmosphere. The gravity is only 1/6 that of Earth.
Not sure.
And it's missing a lot of key resources. So, also the insulating value of the Moon relative to Mars is much less. So if there's something that takes out Earth, like let's say there's a World War III, global thermonuclear warfare, they'll probably throw a few nukes at the Moon. So, whereas it's way harder to shoot Mars with nuclear, and Mars would see it coming and probably have some time to stop the inbound missiles.
I've seen that movie, or I've seen that series before. Yeah, that is what happened.
So the value of Mars, the difficult or the distance and time required to get to Mars actually has an insulating benefit for the continuation of consciousness, even if there's something terrible happens on Earth. And then once we go beyond Mars, there's some asteroids like Ceres, some of the moons of Jupiter. Starship would ultimately be capable of reaching anywhere in the solar system. And then we'll need something, a new level of technology to go to other star systems. But if we can't at least get to Mars, then other star systems are hopeless. I mean, it's a fixer-upper of a planet. Okay, it needs some work, but it is...
2 for 2.
It's really the only option for becoming multiplanetary. And long term, we can warm up Mars, and we can densify the atmosphere, and there'd be a liquid ocean on about 40% of the surface. So we could make it an Earth-like planet long term. So, let's see.
Dude.
We've learned a tremendous amount from when we started the company, and at first were unable to get even a small rocket to orbit, to now where we've done 327 successful launches, almost 300 landings. In fact, give it a few weeks and we'll have done 300 landings.
Yeah, those numbers are out of date.
261 reflights. So, many times I was told that reusability was impossible, and even if you did it, there would be no point because nobody would want to fly rockets that much. But now we routinely fly and land the booster, and we recover the fairing. So we've learned a tremendous amount from the Falcon program that is then feeding into the Starship program. And Falcon and Starlink are what obviously keep the company going. So I'd just like to give a hand to the Falcon team for the incredible work that they're doing. And then Dragon. Wow, 45 launches of Dragon. It's amazing. And we've flown 50
45.
crew members to orbit, 46 to the space station. And everyone has come home safely, which is the most important thing. So, incredible work by the Dragon team. So let's give them a hand. That was, wow. Couldn't ask for a better outcome.
I know he's counting 1 and 2. Like, I'm thinking even all told. Like, that's still...
And Starlink.
Hey. All right.
Actually, if you look at the sort of the plot of all the satellites going around Earth, these look kind of scary, actually. But there's 6,000 satellites in operation, over 6,000. And
I've seen that shot before.
10,000 lasers, almost 3 million customers. So Starlink is doing a lot of good for people on Earth who either don't have internet access or it's very expensive, and so it's doing a lot of good, on Earth. Because when I say we want to be a multi-planet species, we obviously want Earth to be as good as possible, and Mars to be great. So Starlink is doing a tremendous amount of that, and we're learning a lot by having this big fleet. Starlink will also be very important for high bandwidth communication to and on Mars. So, from a tiny rocket to Falcon 9, which is a much bigger rocket, many iterations of Falcon 9, and then Falcon Heavy, and then Starship. And Starship will get bigger, obviously.
What?
This year, if things go according to plan, SpaceX will do probably 90% of all Earth mass to orbit. and then China will do about 6%, and the rest of the world will do about 4%, which is pretty wild. And then once Starship is flying, we'll be doing over 99% of all Earth mass to orbit, which you kind of have to do in order to build a city on Mars. And I should say we'll also build a lunar base as well, so it might as well along the way. So
Okay.
you can see that actually Falcon 1 was really, half a ton to orbit. I think we slight error on the slide there. So Falcon 1 was about half a ton to orbit. Falcon 9, depending on in expendable mode, would do probably 25 tons to orbit. Falcon Heavy, probably 70. Anyway, these are just obviously rapidly increasing numbers. And Starship in its final configuration or its final form will probably do well over 200 tons to orbit with full reusability. And be able to fly multiple times a day. So
Please do this. That looks like a sideways entrance into the arms. Oh, look at that. Look at what has happened. Look at that render. Oh, landed on the chopstick sideways. Oh, that's weird. Huh, very strange. 3 for 3. Huh, it's almost like I said that was gonna happen. Oh, that's weird. Oh, I'm just feeling very vindicated over here.
So I'm pretty confident we will achieve that this year. Like I said, probably 80-90% this year.
That doesn't suck.
And then there's recovering and reusing the ship. The ship will take longer. So the ship, I think we will want to have at least 2 consecutive successes of a given design that land at a specific point in the ocean or smash into a specific point in the ocean before we try to bring it back to the launch site, because we do not want to rain debris over Mexico or the U.S. So my guess is probably next year is when we will be able to reuse Starship. But I think it's highly likely that this year we will bring Starship to, or the ship side of it, to a controlled point in the ocean, and have it basically land on a virtual tower in somewhere in the Pacific or the Indian Ocean. And we've already proven that we can do the final phase of landing, so coming from sort of a belly first position to rotating the ship and landing vertically. We proved that right here. So we just need to be confident that we can get through the high heating portion of the of reentry reliably, and then we will bring the ship back and it will land on the tower as well. And we're going to build more Mechazillas. So there's going to be 2 launch towers here, and then 2 launch towers at the Cape as well. So we'll have 4 launch towers for Starship, probably by sometime next year. So
James, that was a victory lap.
we're aiming to have the first Cape launch
Satellite,
tower and
we're
launch system
having a good day.
operational around the middle of next year. And that'll be important for launch azimuths that are sort of fly over land. So I think
Joey, they'll be
what we should probably expect is that we do the kind of the development launches here, test anything new here, build the rockets, and then probably most of the operational launches would be from the Cape.
Yep. Boga for testing, Cape for op missions. That makes sense.
So this year we're planning to build another roughly 6 boosters and ships, and that production rate will increase a lot next year. That's why we're building the giant factory. Ultimately, we'll need to build a lot more ships than boosters, especially for Mars, because it's you'll actually want to use the ship, take apart the ship and use it for raw materials on Mars, because the ship materials will be so valuable. Most of the ships you wouldn't want to bring back. You'd want to just use them for raw materials. Eventually, we will want to bring ships back, and I think we want to give people the option of coming back because they're more likely to want to go if there's some option of coming back.
Yeah,
But I think most of the people that go to Mars will probably never come back to Earth. So, and we'll need to ramp production to pretty high numbers. Like, I think ultimately probably a ship every, like, multiple ships per day, basically. And then next year we're aiming to demonstrate ship-to-ship propellant transfer. It's hard to make this not look a little bit naughty, because it's 2 ships connecting and doing a fluid transfer. It's just what it is. But this is actually a very important this is a very important step on going to Mars, because you need to get the ship to orbit and then do orbital refilling, kind of like aerial refueling, and that's really you'll need about 5 or 6 refilling missions for every 1 mission that goes to Mars. So roughly 5 to 1.
Hold on.
So and
Rewinding.
probably a ship every, like, multiple ships per day, basically. And then next year we're aiming to demonstrate ship-to-ship propellant transfer. It's hard to make this not look a little bit naughty, because it's 2 ships connecting and doing a fluid transfer. It's just what it is. But this is actually a very important this is a very important step on going to Mars, because you need to get the ship to orbit and then do orbital refilling, kind of like aerial refueling, and that's really you'll need about 5 or 6 refilling missions for every 1 mission that goes to Mars.
Interesting.
So roughly 5 to 1. So, and this will also be very important for the Artemis program for the NASA to get back to the moon. So we'll want to have a ship that is, well, it's going to be a specialized ship for the moon, like this. So the moon, obviously, there's no mechazilla, so we need landing legs. And you don't need a heat shield, and you don't need flaps, because there's no atmosphere. So the moon ship would be specialized. Now, ultimately, I think we want to build a moon base Alpha, and have a permanently occupied base on the moon. Like, that would be super exciting. And so you'd have a bunch of ships that are specialized for going to and from the moon, but they never come back to, they never land back on Earth. They just would dock with propellant tankers to get orbital refilling. So in terms of performance, we've made dramatic progress on every level for Starship. It's remarkable that you can see the Raptor engines and how it has evolved from, optimistically 185 tons to 280, and I think ultimately the booster engines will aim to get the booster engines over 330 tons of thrust, which would mean 10,000 tons of total thrust at liftoff. So, and then the Raptor 3 also will not need a heat shield. So Raptor 3 looks very simple, and it is actually simplified in a lot of ways. But a lot of the complexity is hidden because we have integral cooling channels in many parts of the engine that don't exist in Raptor 2. So in order to not have a heat shield, it has to be very resilient.
But
that is actually what Raptor 3 would look like. Raptor 3 looks like it's missing a bunch of parts. But actually, those parts have either been deleted or they've been integrated into the system, and like I said, with integral cooling channels. And where you need secondary plumbing, the secondary plumbing has also been integrated into the pump and into the chamber jacket, and yeah, so it's much simpler. Well, it's actually extremely difficult to build Raptor 3, but it will be easy to integrate and will have higher performance and lower total mass, and be more reliable. So.
Precisely, Yard.
That can go on for a while. So I find it interesting to look at if you look at the flame tail on Starship and how long it is. It's a very long flame tail, which is due to the fact that the chamber pressure, well, it's just outputting a lot more gas at a higher velocity. But I think the flame tail is like maybe 1,000 feet long. It's like more than twice the length of the rocket. And that will actually get, as we increase the thrust, that will get longer.
330 meters.
Yeah. And inevitably, the rocket grows in height. So Starship 2, we're aiming for, currently Flight 3 would be around 40 or 50 tons to orbit. So the current design, Starship 2 will be over 100 tons. And then Starship 3 will be over 200 tons. Yeah, it's going from around 7,000 tons thrust to over 8,000. But I think we'll end up ultimately with more than 10,000 tons of thrust, probably 7,000 or 8,000 tons of liftoff mass, and at least 10 meters taller. We'll see. Tends to grow.
What?
Yeah, exactly. So it probably grows a bit more than that, even really. So if you look at Falcon 9, we're not going to do the length to diameter of Falcon 9. That would be crazy. But Falcon 9 is a very long rocket, so I suspect it'll probably get a bit longer than this. But at 200 tons per flight, fully reusable, that is pretty incredible. And
what the hell?
Yeah. This will be on the order of 500 feet tall. And then there's thousands of design improvements here. So. I think maybe one of the most profound things is Starship 3 will cost less per flight than Falcon 1. So that's the difference between if you've got a fully reusable rocket or an expendable rocket. The fully reusable rocket with low-cost propellant and autogenous pressurization actually costs less than a tiny expendable rocket. So, and it'll do, like I said, Falcon 1 is about half a ton to orbit. The Starship 3 will be 400 times more payload for less than the cost of a Falcon 1. Ultimately, I think we might be able to get the cost per flight to Earth orbit down around $2 million or $3 million. So these are sort of unthinkable numbers. from the, nobody ever thought that this was possible, but we're not breaking any physics to achieve this. So this is within the bound, without breaking physics, we can do this. So the Mars missions are 2 years apart, or 26 months. If you look closely at the Starlink router, you see the Hohmann transfer from Earth orbit to Mars orbit. Yep. And that's basically to say to people, the Starlink system that you're buying is helping get humanity to Mars. I think it's pretty cool. So roughly every 2 years, thousands of ships would depart from Earth to Mars. It would look like Battlestar Galactica, but in a good way, Hopefully without being chased by the Cylons. But it would be an incredible thing to see these thousands of ships departing every 26 months for Mars. What this diagram is basically saying is that for getting to Mars, we would essentially create a kind of a propellant depot ship. The propellant depot would look more like a hot dog than like a sphere.
Well,
it's really just
like I know what
a
a
long
JPEG
ship
is.
with a lot of insulation. And we'd fill that ship up, and then shortly before, or as they're going to Mars, the ships would take off with, I don't know, a couple hundred tons of payload from Earth, reach orbit with almost no propellant, and then get refilled by the tanker, and then go to Mars and go all the way to Mars with over 200 tons of useful payload. Then on Mars, in the beginning, I think we would simply reuse the ship materials, so most of the ships wouldn't come back, but then over time, you'd want to bring the ships back so you could reuse them. And for that, we would need to create methane, CH4, and oxygen, O2 on Mars, which you can do with H2O and CO2. So the atmosphere is CO2, and there's plenty of water ice, H2O. And so it's kind of like tailor-made for, well, actually, the reason we have a methane oxygen system is because you can make methane and oxygen on Mars fairly easily. Like just not a total walk in the park, but the ingredients are readily available to create methane and oxygen on Mars. So you build a propellant depot and bring the ships back, and build out, as quickly as possible, a self-sustaining civilization on Mars. And we want to get the cost of going to Mars such that almost anyone could afford it. So, like if somebody were to just work hard on Earth, save up, and that they'd be able to go to Mars. So it's like anyone, ideally, almost anyone could go to Mars. And I think you'll see a lot of governments also sponsor people, and ultimately we'll want to get. So there's kind of an optimal landing zone on Mars where you have resources. So you've got access to water or frozen water. That you're not too close to the poles, so you can use solar power. It would be nice to use nuclear. I don't know if we'll get the approval, but nuclear would be very handy on Mars because you can use the heat, and you can generate electricity. So, and then you kind of want to be about 2 kilometers below sea level. So if Mars did have an ocean, you'd actually be quite deep in the ocean, at least at first. Yeah, so let's see. That's Mars, kind of want to land about halfway between the pole and the equator, in a kind of a deep area of Mars. The deeper it is, the more you can use the atmosphere to brake, and the atmospheric density is higher. So these are all the things that would have to be developed. Sometimes people ask me, are we developing these things? I'm like, not yet, because this is the cart, and we need the horse first. So the rocket is the horse, and then this is the cart. But ultimately, we'll need all these things, lots of power generation, mining in general, ice mining, propellant production, long-duration life support, a lot of construction, and then global communication. So I think this would open up a lot of opportunities for entrepreneurs that want to create things on Mars, whether that is a propellant. Well, I think we'll have to do the propellant depot, but whether it's like iron ore refining or a pizza joint or a bar, there'll be an opportunity to do all the things that we like on Earth on Mars. Like a Mars bar would be, yeah. Great. So I think probably a rough order of magnitude guess for what you need, how many people do you need for a self-sustaining city is about 1 million, and several million tons of cargo. So, yeah, which we can do, and we can do this in 20 years. But like I said, in order for it to be self-sustaining, you actually need the entire base of industry. You can't be missing any element. So that's really what's going to take a while is, do you have everything you need to survive on Mars? At that point, the future of consciousness is assured. So if you do 10 launches a day at 200 tons per launch, 1.5 million tons to LEO per opportunity, you net that out to 250,000 tons to Mars per opportunity. So that means you can get to 1 million tons in about 8 years, since the opportunities are 2 years apart.
Poison, thank you.
So I think this is pretty doable, and I'm like, we're actually going to do this. We are actually going to do it, which is insane to think. So millions of tons to Mars. Yeah. Wild.
Yeah.
And we're going to build a lot of vehicles. So.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Several thousand vehicles per year is what we'll need.
Please do this.
Which really quite doable, actually. It sounds like a lot, but it's very doable.
I'm sorry. What?
Yeah. If you compare it to sort of car production, it's a small number. Of course, this is much bigger than a car, but even if you look at the total tonnage, it's still very doable to build several thousand vehicles a year. So
But
that's what we need to do, and we're gonna do it.
I like that he. No. Oh,
And then
you should have said
long-term-
something about that.
Which it's very doable.
I really appreciate that he put B-24 in there. The B-24. I really appreciate that. The reason why is because the B-24 was made at a plant in Detroit. Well, it's in Ypsi. It's closer to Ypsi, technically. Ford made a plant in Detroit called Willow Run. Willow Run mass-produced B-24s. They had a moving assembly line for airplanes. Now, don't get me wrong. Most planes are done that way, but nobody got it dialed in like Ford had it dialed in. Right there. Remember, 6,972 B-24s. That's a heavy bomber. They cranked that out in a year in 1943. Now, I understand, not Starship, but also, that's a lot of planes. That was in 1943. I know where this number comes from. 6,900 heavy bombers that's ridiculous. But Ford was one of the only people that ever did a moving assembly line for planes. Now, don't get me wrong, Boeing, Airbus, like those, they've done that. Boeing did it. Boeing did it with B-17s during World War II, and B-29s for what it's worth. Which is, I'm not 100% sure why they didn't say that here, but go to war, Carol. That's right. Sig, watch your language during the day, or, I'll watch it for you. I would appreciate that. I don't think this is over here. If you did 1 iota of thinking here for a second, instead of saying what you said, This right here is not necessarily to compare an automobile to an aircraft. I don't think anybody here is trying to make the argument that an airplane or a spaceship that goes to Mars is on the same technical complexity as building a car. But once again, the context of this conversation is mass production, not complexity of vehicle, right? That shows that SpaceX and by proxy Tesla have the chops to be able to understand mass production. And I think that's the exact reason why there's B-24s, why the B-24 is mentioned. Because the only other person to crank out four-figure numbers for aircraft ever was a car company. Just some food for thought. Ford did this. That's why they put Tesla there. Does that make sense? That's why I like Ford. Ford's pretty cool. Ford's a pretty cool guy and doesn't afraid of anything.
Doable to build several thousand vehicles a year. So that's what we need to do, and we're going to do it.
Oh.
And then long term, we'll probably have some offshore launch sites.
You're just gonna glaze over that one? Some offshore launch sites? You're just gonna glaze over?
That's what we need to do, and we're going to do it.
Huh. That looks like they just crudely placed Mechazilla on top of some generic oil rig. You just crudely pasted your face over mine.
And then long term, we'll probably have some offshore launch sites.
Huh. Crazy thing is Ford also figured out that workers are more productive when treated like human beings. Yeah. It turns out if you take care of your workers, they do good things for you. Strange concept to a lot nowadays, but just saying. Yeah, Tigris, that's another important thing to mention. Ford was also doing, while they were doing that with bombers, they were also cranking out more Jeeps. Did you know that Ford made more Jeeps than Jeep did during World War II? Tigris, I know you knew that, but I'm not sure if anybody else here knows that. Hey, Shmoog, 109 months. Yeah, Ford made more Jeeps than Jeep did during World War II. And they were better made, too. That's the best part. Ford always made a better Jeep than Jeep did. Even nowadays. Look at the Bronco. I'll take a Bronco over a Jeep. Absolutely. Look at it in the 60s. The Bronco. What's the Bronco? The Bronco's just a Jeep with a Bronco name on it and Ford parts. It's a better Jeep than Jeep is. I love how Ford just has this incessant need to just hate Jeep. That's really funny to me. No, if you really want to know the reason, Henry Ford didn't like Jeep. He thought the Jeep was a stupid design. He thought it was dumb. True story. Yeah, he thought it was really stupid. And then the government said, "You want to make Jeeps for us?" And he said, "No, that's dumb. Jeeps are stupid. Let me design something for you." And then Uncle Sam said, "Hey, we'll pay you if you make Jeeps." And Henry Ford went, "Oh, yeah? How much are you going to pay me?" And then the government went to Henry Ford and said, "We'll give you a cost plus contract to make them." And Henry Ford went, "Cost plus, you say?" And that's what they did. It's funny because you can always tell if a flat fender Jeep, so flat fender Jeeps are Fords, or if they're a Jeep. You know why? Because if you look on the bolts, any bolts on a Jeep that was made by Ford have Ford's cursive F on it, because Henry Ford wanted everybody to know He wanted everybody to know that this Jeep is a Ford, so it's built correctly and it's not a piece of trash. Yeah. Guy hated, dude, the guy just hated Jeep. I don't know what that was about. Guy just hated Jeep. I don't understand, but he did. It's very weird. Guy hated Jeep. It's weird. Boone. That's messed up, but I mean, you're not wrong. Yeah, I want this.
You can just imagine all of these starships waiting in orbit for the planets to align, and then this gigantic Starfleet taking off from Mars.
Please do this. All right. Shut up and take my money. Crazy, Denny, huh? Do this. Please do this. 20 years, you say. Surely you didn't pull that one out of your tail, right? Right? Please?
All right, so we're actually going to do this. When you think about where this started out, this was literally just a sandbar where we're standing right now. And now look at what we've done here. And we've gotten
40.
3
That's fine,
flights
Chad.
off of Starship, and we've got a fourth
Jim.
one coming up. And we're building a gigantic factory that will be able to output a massive number of ships. So it's surreal, but it's real. So we're actually going to do this. We're going to take humanity to Mars. And I'm confident you can do it. So.
Well, there was a lot of information there. No, you guys don't understand. In the future, spaceflight will favor people that are older. You know why? Rehabilitative stuff. Rehabilitative joint therapy. Gonna be retirement homes in space in the future. Calling it now. Calling it now. Think about it. Harassi says they're going to go to Mars in 20 years, which probably in reality means a little bit longer than that. But yeah, but muscle atrophies. So you can't work out in space, L-Force? Oh, I hope so, son. That would be good. Dude, there was a lot of info in there. Dude, I called the sideways landing with Super Heavy though. That was absolutely me. Sorry about that. I've been saying that for the last 5 years, man. That sideways landing though. There it is. There it is. Arthur Morgan, can I be drunk on a Tuesday? No, Arthur, you can't be drunk on a Tuesday. I need you for one last job, Arthur. Can't be drunk today. Tessa, Henry Ford. Tessa, you're saying over in the YouTube chat, Henry Ford hated Jeep because the Jeep founder said the Model T was a joke. Okay. I told you, sideways. Been saying that for years. Sideways. It's not coming straight down on the chopstick arms. It'll come in from the side. And look, the render right there. Too late, man. Arthur, I need you for one job. You can't be drunk, Arthur. You can't be drunk. At this rate, they'll add winglets for cross range and fuel saving. Nope. I'm going to turn that all down. Turn that down a little ways. Willys Overland or Bantam? What do you mean, Greg? I like the Willys. The Willys Jeep was the one that Ford ended up making more of. I mean, I'm telling you. So, okay, why am I so incessant about this? Okay, this was from testing in KSP. I'm not going to lie to you. All right? Not going to lie. This is where we figured this out. I found that when you try to go right over this, you're much more susceptible to, well, not being super precise. Carrying what's called a horizontal velocity component. So basically going sideways just a little bit. Going sideways just a little bit allows you to control the momentum of the booster a lot better. Coming in just like that. It allows you to control the momentum of the booster a lot easier. It's way easier to stay, to land on a nice straight track if you have some horizontal velocity, right? See how the booster is coming in a little sideways there? I said that this was going to happen. And once again, I did prototype it in KSP, and I found that coming in sideways was way easier to do than coming in from the top. Coming in at a 45-degree angle, way easier. Because you can control your...
Go and throttle up.
Arthur, thanks for the subs, man. You can be hammered today, man. That's fine. Dang it, Arthur. God dang it, Arthur.
Discovery, go and throttle up.
Physics favors doing that. Let me put it to you like that. Right there. Physics favors that design because it's easier to control the moment of the booster. The momentum going in one direction. Same way helicopters have a lot easier time holding a little momentum than in a pure hover. Something like that. Yeah, Yarg, for the most part. Yeah. I mean, even a helicopter, when it's coming into land, still doesn't usually go straight down. I mean, you can, right?
Discovery,
but it's much easier to carry the momentum sideways, right? So the other part of the theory is that they're going to point this into the wind. The booster will have a headwind when it's coming in. So the wind will help dampen out that sideways momentum. It's just going to be like a plane landing on a runway. It's just a very short runway. Dude, I've been saying this since Starship, well, I don't know, probably since like 2021, 2020. I've been saying, like, when we actually went and messed with this thing, this was the easiest way to do this. Yeah, Nova, that's right. Do you think they need a water-cooled steel plate under the catching arms? No, absolutely not. Convection will handle most of the heat dissipation. You gotta remember, it's only 3 engines firing. Does it use less propellant when coming in at a 45-degree angle for landing? Pigeon, if there's a headwind, sure, absolutely. I'm telling you, dude, that's perfect. That's how they're going to do it. It's really, really nice to be vindicated. I said that multiple times on NSF, and the NSF chat grilled me. I got grilled. And even the other hosts. I'm not trying to throw them under the bus, but frick you, I was right. I was frickin' right. Right? Just do it. Do it. Yes, you can. Nothing is impossible, so just do it. It's gonna be a fun live. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's going to be a real fun live, dude. Oh, I'm going to have fun. I'm going to go in there and be like, frick you, I was right, frick you, I was right, frick you. Anyway, no, I'm not going to do that. I mean, maybe figuratively do that. Anyway. How many dry runs do you think before they'll try the real tower? They said if Flight 4 goes right, Chris, they're going to try to catch with Flight 5. I also said that they would catch by the end of the year. It's going to happen sooner rather than later. I didn't nail the exact date, right? I didn't nail the exact date. And the reason, so this clip is for Friday? Yeah, Greg. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The wartime Jeeps are Bantam's design. The government bought the Jeep outright and gave production contract to Ford and Willys. Oh, yeah, that's right, Greg. Thank you. Thank you for that. Anyway, no, I'm not going to be a jerk about it. It was just a theory. I don't know, but it's good to feel vindicated. But yeah, I said that they're going to try catching sooner rather than later because Starship is in the critical path for HLS, or Super Heavy is in the critical pathway. If Super Heavy doesn't work, you can kiss your lunar lander goodbye. Because there's no way you're getting it anywhere. Super Heavy has to work. Starship's re-entry system doesn't necessarily have to work. You could still get a lander to the moon with expendable Starship refuelers, right? You could still get to the moon, get your HLS out to the moon with expendable Starships, like just having them burn up on re-entry. But you definitely can't support a mission cadence sacrificing a Super Heavy every time. Absolutely not. So I've always been saying this for, well, shoot, since the HLS contract was awarded, that Super Heavy is what they're going to try to get right. They're going to try to get it perfect. It has to be perfect. You have to be able to get that thing back. They're going to focus on getting that thing reused sooner than Starship. And that's basically what Elon just said in that meeting, which is excellent. And don't get me wrong, I'm making a joke like, frick you, I was right, frick you, I was right. Like that. I'm not trying to be like that. I'm really more happy that my analysis on what SpaceX is doing is accurate. That helps me. This helps me kind of understand what they're doing and makes me better at analyzing the news. Not speaking though. Yeah, Yarg. I'll do that. Is SpaceX a profitable company? Aren't they their own best customer? VB, Starlink is your profitability avenue. They're probably not break even, but Starship is generating money. Absolutely. But why mail Super Heavies? Are you serious? I just told you that a moment ago. Right. The Elon Musk school on Mars for kids who can't read good and want to learn how to do other things good as well. Yeah, there you go, Nova. And if they succeed, they get all the returns. Bingo. Yeah, I've always said that if Starlink captures 1% of global telecommunications, like 1% of like global network traffic, so like that means for every 100 people, one person has a Starlink, right? SpaceX will be profitable. Absolutely. Reusing the rocket is not your profitable venture. The payload is your profitable venture, right? Launch providers exist to launch payloads into space. That's how they make money. So SpaceX figured out that Elon and Gwen and that team basically figured out in 2015, 2016 that if you make a reusable rocket, so what? No one's going to want to fly on it all the time. So you have to make the market. I'm telling you, SpaceX standardizing demand, even though it's internal demand for missions for a profitable avenue, Starlink, SpaceX standardizing demand and keeping the demand at a constant rate, and then picking up anybody else that wants to launch stuff along the way while they keep launching Starlinks that is what is shifting the entire commercial market. Because in the in the past, the market has come in waves. You get a lot of demand all at once, and then you get nothing for about 10 to 15 years. That's how it's basically been since the 90s. The reason why is the commercial markets exploded in the 90s because of the dot-com era. And they all made satellites that were going out to geostationary orbit, and those satellites had a 10 to 15 year life cycle. That market dried up when the dot-com bubble burst, and then look, that happened right around 2010. What's 15 years after that? 2015, 2016, right when SpaceX started to pursue reuse. That's not a coincidence, guys. It's not a coincidence at all. They knew. They knew that the market demand was sinusoidal. It goes up and down. So SpaceX knew that they could ride this demand for replacing all these satellites. You ever notice that a lot of SpaceX missions, 2015, 2016, 2017, were all geostationary communication satellites? And SpaceX went through that whole phase, 2018, 2019, of expending the Block 4 fleet to launch all these geo satellites. They were profitable during that time, and they used that profit to start up Starlink. Starlink's test satellites, Tintin A and B, launched in 2018, and by 2020, we're seeing Starship launches almost every week. Now we see them almost every day. There's one in 6 hours. See what I'm talking about? They made the demand themselves because rockets aren't the profitable venture, which is hilarious to me because I see people making this argument all the time. Oh, rockets aren't a profitable venture. Yeah, I know. The things that they launch are the profitable venture. And if you make something that needs to be launched all the time, and you make it in a network that needs to constantly be maintained because the satellites, instead of having a 10 to 15 year life cycle, have a 5-year life cycle, the demand stays constant. And if that satellite network that you're making just happens to be a profitable venture, the whole system will just keep self-sustaining. And then you can use all the profit you use to make a fully reusable vehicle, which favors this formula even more. See, they're smart, very smart. That's very smart market analysis on SpaceX. They've been really good at that for a long time. 200-ton fully reusable Starship. What would it be able to carry in expendable mode? Yes. Chief, I think what wouldn't it be able to carry in expendable mode, dude? Yeah, Nova, something like that. Where does SpaceX get the money to set up Starlink? Wall Street debt? No, they have private investors. Private venture capitalists are backing SpaceX, at least initially, Arsenal. Government contracts has a lot to do with it. The NSSL contract, HLS, commercial resupply, commercial crew, all the commercial payloads that they launch into space. Dude, that's a lot of profit. And then Starlink on top of that. It's a lot of profit, dude. What are the odds that they test these ideas in KSP before breaking out the supercomputers to do the math? I guarantee, well, actually, Survey Slave, I have it on pretty damn good authority that people at SpaceX screw with Kerbal all the time. Yeah. Oh, yeah, all the time. Yeah, maybe Tesla. That'd be kind of cool.
Throttle up.
Tried to explain this to so many people. The whole plan was honestly one of the most genius business moves in modern times. Yeah, especially since it changed the dynamics of the entire sat launch market, Spoon. SpaceX basically spearheading the pivot from geosynchronous satellites that have a 10 to 15 year lifespan to low Earth orbit constellations that have a 5-year lifespan that need constant maintenance is that right there is the reason why we have a healthy and competitive commercial launch market in the United States. The pivot to smaller, finite life, or not finite, they're all finite, but lower life satellites, genius. And look at the demand it spawned. We're going to have Starlink, there's Project Kuiper, there's OneWeb, Iridium. That's pretty good, man. Hey, Joho, 55 months, thank you. There will, King. Yep. Check your last message. Okay. Now to make them reusable. Yes. Thoughts on too much low-level satellites to the point where we can't launch rockets anymore? Starlinks are in a decaying orbit inherently, gamer. If SpaceX stopped launching Starlink satellites right now, in 5 years, they'd be all gone. Not worried about it. Not worried. There you go, Elzekin. Yep. Yeah, Spoon. Yep. I can see SpaceX starting to capture old Starlinks and bringing them back down for refurbishment. What? Why? It's not going to be just SpaceX. So? Proliferated NRO constellations. No, they do, Helsinki. It's possible, but Goldie, here's the thing. These satellite constellation networks, Starlink is in a decaying orbit. There's OneWeb and Project Kuiper that are above those. Low Earth orbit insertion altitude is way below any of that. Heck, the ISS is way below any of that. They purposely don't have satellites down there for a good reason. Because of this exact thing. We'll always be able to get into low Earth orbit. And if we can get even something into low Earth orbit, we can do cleanup from there. I'm not worried about it. There's been some pretty damn good thought put into this. Like there's levels on purpose. Now, could it become a problem? Yeah, sure, of course. Can an accident on a highway become a problem and jam up traffic? Sure, absolutely. You know, we're going to need to maybe look at avenues of being able to clean up orbital debris in the future. But that could be much easier to do if you have 200-ton access to LEO, right? 200 tons of pop to LEO, you can make something that cleans up space debris a lot easier, right? I think we actually have a pretty metered and pretty considered approach towards this, which is great. Yeah, really good. A big sail cleans it up. I mean, dude, with 200 tons, you could launch it. You could put an Abrams up there and have a capture mechanism glued to the top of an Abrams tank. I mean, 200 tons to low Earth orbit, that's... I mean, you could put it whatever you want up there, right? Yeah, no, all good. Good, that was a good question. Let's just make a capture mechanism of Abrams tanks. It's a good idea. I mean, maybe Tessa, sure, I guess, if you want to lower this, if you want to use Starlinks for a station keeping maneuver to cluster back up and then grab all of them, that would, I mean, maybe, but the Starlink satellites are designed to be expendable. They're designed to burn up on purpose. Yeah, Yarg, exactly. Jim, 32-month resub. Do you think an Abrams tank would burn up in the atmosphere? Some of it would get through, but steel ablates pretty dang well. Ask anybody that's ever used a plasma cutter before. Steel ablates, yeah. That doesn't react well to plasma. Not a lot of things in here react well to bullets. All right. They also said they're going to build 2 towers, which is pretty sweet. I'm wondering where we know that the parts of the second tower are staged at Sanchez. I'm just kind of wondering where the heck those things will end up. But what about that depleted uranium armor? I don't know. Even if it's covered with uranium-238, why do we want to do that? I mean, depleted uranium. I mean, guys, uranium is still ablative. It still can. We know there's been some pretty good documentation out there about uranium hitting critical mass and what happens when that happens. No, it won't do that. But I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying a uranium coated armor on a tank trying to re-enter might not be the best idea. Depleted uranium. Oh, okay. You know what? I'm still gonna say that this is probably. I'm gonna go out on a limb and probably say that's not a good idea. Would the tank crew get uranium fever? Okay. Just look at the serial number on these Raptors, okay? just look at the serial number on the Raptors, please. So it seems like SpaceX is heavily invested into some type of either super advanced casting or some 3D printed stereolithography for their parts, because Elon said that a lot of the cooling channels and instrumentation for Raptor 3 are printed right into the pieces, which is just okay. You did what? Yeah, this part right here. Yeah, maybe T-Man. They're gonna build it where suborbital pad B is. Yeah, flip up. That makes sense. I'm watching both chats. Yeah. Yeah, all these extra pieces are integrated right into the part during manufacture, which is just, dude, that alone would be impressive. The fact that this is going to do what he said it's going to do is all right. Not saying it's alien tech, but I don't think it's alien tech. I just think, we're not used to seeing somebody go at rocket engines in an iterative capacity, There you go, Morgan. Yeah, right? It'll work. So by Raptor 5, the entire thing is just one massive 3D printed engine. Yeah. Relativity in shambles. Even this is pretty damn impressive, right? Yeah, exactly, Teague. It's very rare to be able to make freaking that many engines. We saw 352, Raptor serial number 352 there. 352! I don't think there's that many shuttle engines that were made. Not even close. What other engine has been manufactured that much? Merlin engine is the only other one. How many? I'd be curious, chat. Someone look this up. How many shuttle engines were made? How many F1 engines were made? How many J2s were made? I guarantee you more Raptor engines that have been produced than any of those things. ICBM engines, maybe. Yeah, LR-87s, maybe. Soyuz RD-107s, yeah. Yeah, that's the only thing I can really think of. 46 RS-25s. The only one is from another country. RD-180? I don't even think there's been that many RD-180s in Westigator. How many? Yeah, exactly. How many engines have gotten over 1,000? You think they've made 1,000? SpaceX has made 1,000 Merlin engines? I think they have. How many Merlins have they made? At least 700. Tyler, off the top of my head, they've made at least 700 Merlin engines. I can say that pretty dang conclusively. Because what's the highest Falcon first stage serial number we're at right now? 1082? All right. Maybe they reused some of these engines from flight to flight, right? So just let's do, and each Falcon has 10, right? So let's just say they've made enough Merlin engines to supply 70 Falcon 9s, right? 10 engines per, right? So that's 700. And it's probably more than that, right? Like this is a very conservative estimate. I mean, we know for a fact that we know for a fact that SpaceX has made, let's take a look here. $322 Merlin vacuums. I know that for a fact because the rocket that's launching tonight, Starlink 648, is Falcon 9's 322nd mission. And no, you don't get Merlin vacuums back, so we know it's at least 300. That's at the very least, right? What about Tridents? Would you count that? That's the only other thing I can think of. Goalie, an ICBM or Soyuz, RD-107s and RD-108s. I mean, they bid 1,000 Merlin engines 7 years ago. Yeah, I mean, I'm estimating, Forge. I don't think, does estimation exist in your language? Right? Like, and SpaceX has already cranked out over 300 Raptor engines. This iterative prototyping over this short a period of time, like even all those other ones, Soyuz has had that many engines manufactured over the last 50 years, right? ICBMs also over the last 50 years, right? SpaceX in the last 10 years has produced more rocket engines than had been produced in the previous like 40. Also an estimation. Somebody would have to fact check me on that one. Estes engines, there's got to be tens of thousands of those. Tessa, shut up. Shut up. Zip it. So, I mean, yeah, with the point that I'm trying to make, guys, is with all this rapid prototyping, SpaceX can really, really afford to upgrade the design a lot. Frankly, this is what they should have done with the shuttle. They should have done this. They shouldn't have made 5 orbiters and then been like, nah, never mind. ST's proving once again that solid motors are the superior motors, Kappa. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna turn this damn stream around. That'll end your precious little space news pretty damn quick, huh? I'll turn this damn bus around. That'll end your precious little field trip pretty. SpaceX posted 6 years ago that they reached 400 Merlins. Yeah, it's easily over 1,000 flip up. Workers early, nice. Must be hard to repack solid rocket engine on Mars. Yeah, I don't think that's the right solution there, Roadrunners. Yeah, kind of with you on that one. Oh, Roadrunners, you'll like this, dude. I was reading in my propulsion book about like no, maybe it wasn't the propulsion book. I forget where I was reading it. I was reading about spun bearings in rocket engines. That's violent. It's very violent. Yeah, that's not good. Not good. Not great, Bob. They can spin bearings. It's basically the same like if you lose a turbo, you lose the turbo oil cooler. Yeah. Gets hot really, really fast, and that's the end of that. Wait, what? Explain. Rockets can spin bearings in the turbo pump if you don't get the right lubricant in there. Yeah, that's not good for it. You can spin bearings. Yeah. Yeah, just like a car can spin bearings. That's bad. Spinning bearings is bad. You said crossing the streams was bad. Yep. It was super interesting. Yeah, good stuff. Turns out rocket engines can also visit Rodney. It's not good. This kills the rocket. Yeah, propulsion book. It wasn't in the propulsion book, but I'll show you the propulsion book just in case you were wondering. This is one of my favorite books to read. Modern Engineering for Design of Liquid Propellant Rocket Engines. Great book. You can learn a lot from this one. This is the book. That and RPE by Sutton. What kind of lubricant do they use for rocket engines? I know it's definitely not WD-40. No. WD-40 is not used on rocket engines, T-Man. WD-40 was used to coat the outside of rockets. In fact, that's why it was made. Water displacement formula 40 was made to make sure that the outside of Atlas stainless steel missiles don't actually corrode or rust. Yeah. So, you're half right. Also, WD-40 isn't lube. It's a water displacement formula. You need penetrating oil if you want to. I mean, penetrating oil isn't lube either. Just saying. Penetrating oil? Just like the attachable booster cores on Delta that strap to the side of the booster. Man, that guy really liked saying that a lot. That guy really wasn't doing himself any favors there. Yeah, it's like when that NASA commentator was talking about Artemis 1, and he was talking about how they had to reapply some room temperature vulcanization cream to the Orion because some wind blew it off, and he ended up calling it cock like probably about 10 times in quick succession. Yeah, that was weird. There's a reason why I call it RTV and why I don't call it that on the, when we're doing a cast on the internet. And I always say attachable solid rocket motor, not the other thing. Yeah. Yeah. Who doesn't enjoy some sealant talk? Bullet hole surfer. Right? Am I right? Thick. You want thick. Digital. All right, anyway. We've talked about Starship. We could talk about it a little bit more. Here, check this out. In case you missed it at the first part of the stream, this happened. The final Delta launch with attachable booster cores.
10, 9,
Okay.
7, 6, 5. We have ignition. 2, 1. And liftoff of the final United Launch Alliance Delta IV Heavy rocket, carrying NROL 70 for the National Reconnaissance Office, enclosing Delta's 6-decade legacy of excellence in space.
That's awesome. So L-70 launched. The book of Delta has officially closed. But I don't think it has. Everybody's saying that. But also, SLS is Delta 5. No, you're not changing my mind. It has a Delta upper stage in it. It's Delta 5. Okay. What are you going to call it? Shuttle 2.0? No. Delta 5, baby. Am I right? High five. Who's coming with me, man? Who's coming with me? Who's coming with me, man? I have it, Elzikin, yes. Just you. Shut up, Yarg. I'll come with you. T-Man. Yes, man. Yes. Call it the orange yeeter. I like that. Got a nice ring to it. Delta 5 all day. And Vulcan is Atlas 6. You're not changing my mind. This is my stream. I'm the main character. You shut up. You shut up. Oh, God. Frick you. Frick you. Frick you. You're cool. T-Man, you're cool. And frick you, I'm out. Booster with cheese. You son of a gun, I'm right behind you. Turn around and ask me for booster with cheese, yo. Why you gotta make me feel inferior because I'm on the launch pad, G? Damn. Didn't have that teed up, I swear. Where are you going? Oh. Think they'll be back? No? Yeah, all right. Yeah, you're right. Oh. They killed Killer B? They killed Delta B? Why does that work? All right. How did you know I was leaving? I'm Cuban B. Yes, Cuban B. Who's coming with me, man? Who's coming with me? All right. Anyway. So the Book of Delta is closed, but it's not closed, but it is, but it's not. Jan. Yes, man. Jan, you want to be my girlfriend? I would, but no. Will New Glenn kill Vulcan? No. No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. Officer Murtaugh, look at the hardware. It's over. Riggs is gone. Anyway. He is slowly descending into madness. You were merely adopted by the madness. I was born into it. Molded by it. So how does one phrase this question? If I had a Delta-sized thing to get up, what rocket should I use now? Vulcan. Vulcan. Vulcan can do it. He can do it just fine. Damn. An hour, Leon. I've been away for some time. What is going on with EJ? What do you mean? What do you mean? What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say? What, am I funny? Funny how? Funny how? Like funny like a clown, like I'm here to amuse you? What the frick is so freaking funny about me? Huh? Now, in our Leon, the reality of the situation is that I burned the candle at both ends on over the last couple of days, and I'm very, very sleep deprived. Yeah, that's what's going on. I always start quoting movies for avenues of communication when I'm tired. When first VC6 launch? I hope sooner rather than later. But Vulcan should be able to bring up the slack where Delta left off. You had way too many face-to-face interactions. Those can be tiring. Yeah, right? I had to talk to people. Freaking talk to people, man. Thanks, sir. You're welcome. EJ is now a General Motors guy and he loves four bangers. All right. Let's see. Where's the goal? Okay, click goalie. Where's that timeout button? All right. There. Yeah, there you go. Why don't you suck on that one, pal? Why is the program called Vulcan? It was actually crowdsourced. They crowdsourced the name, and they didn't accept Rocket McRocketface as the name of the rocket, which kind of sucks. It's named after Vulcans from Star Trek. All right, so I've been linked a video a lot over the past couple of days here since this video was posted here. So here, I'm going to present this one without context. And if you would like to know more, just let me know.
This week, we are testing our beta decelerator. It is a thermal protection system for small spacecraft. So the goal of this technology is to be able to deliver anything in the world within 90 minutes of call-up. So imagine you have an inventory in space, pre-staged. You know where everything is and where it's going to go. And then you've got the warfighter on the ground, and he needs certain things, and it can change the tide of a battle. Our job is to deliver those within 100 yards of where he needs them, anywhere on the globe. We'll be dropping these articles, what we call the last mile. So from approximately 4,000 to 5,000 feet, looking at how the flight characteristics of the system work and how the recovery operations are done. We could design vehicles, but until you design them and then go operate them, do you start to look at the infrastructure you need to do that. We developed that architecture. We developed the communication system. We developed the data system. We developed the recording of everything, how you look at data. All of that's being defined in real time. And on top of that, we had to design the vehicle. That's only done when you do this base level testing.
Today we're going to drop 3 test articles from the helicopter. Before we get these articles moved out to the runway to move on for the test, I was going to go out and double check everything, make sure that the rigging of the parachute is set up correctly, that the flotation devices are the way that we want them, and make sure our hardware is set up, because I want to get all that handled as much as we can in the controlled area in the hangar before we get it out. This is a growing piece of the satellite division at Sierra Space, as well as applications across the board in Sierra Space.
So basically, with kind of a dish-shaped heat shield
See that guy? That guy cooks.
like this, you have a lot of instability right around zero angle of attack. By adding weight a little bit to this side, we actually pull our CG and our angle of attack a little bit to one side, and we kind of dig the rudder in to the airflow and pull the nose up more like an airfoil. When you begin steering it and you have actual flight dynamics, that lets you understand how stable it's going to be. It lets you know when you input a control measurement, what's actually going to happen. So there's a lot of gains there for having both the shape and the weight offset.
Before we do any drops, actually, we do streamer passes to verify the winds, and we're going to verify 2 different factors. We're going to see where we think it's going to land short and where we think it's going to land long.
The first one is
That
going to
man
be
has
the terminal
dreads.
drop test articles, what kind of we're referring to it, because it doesn't have any parachute or anything. So it'll be dropped from a lower altitude, and it's just going to go down and hit the ground. The idea there is just to get a little bit better understanding
that the SLF?
How this vehicle, how hard it'll hit the ground and what that would do to the payload. So when the first drop happened, we saw some tumbling in the vehicle, some little bit of unstable flight. We got on the radios and said, let's hold off before
Oh, that's what you call that. Yeah. Yeah.
dropping this next unit, and let's make some changes.
Sierra Space said you guys are cleared to get ready for the second drop.
The next unit would be the same single-piece unit that does have a parachute, and we'll try to target the landing, see what the flight dynamics are like and what the speeds are like under that size parachute.
And that's actually going to occur at 4,000 feet. So we're going to drop it at 4,000. At about 2,000 feet, the parachute should come out and it should land safely on the ground.
Oh, good luck getting
The
that.
last article.
Good luck getting that. That's out in the bush, dude. Have fun. Look at where that thing landed. You're not getting... Dude. Oh, man. I hope you brought a machete with you. Have fun with that. I ain't going in there. There's gators in there, man.
Parachute should come out and it should land safely on the ground.
The last article is a
Yeah, okay,
separable
that's a good
unit.
point.
So for that test article, we're going to separate the shield portion from the bus portion so that we can demonstrate more of a payload return capability, where the shield has done its job coming through the atmosphere and it is no longer needed. So when the parachute activates, it's going to separate the shield away, and then we'll get the payload coming down on your parachute. Today was a huge success for us. Not that every drop went perfectly, And I think it's more of a success because the drops didn't all go perfectly. When you fail, when you have little issues, that's when you grow the most. And so we learned a ton about some of the things that do go well and some of the things that don't go well. We're able to make those adjustments.
Today's test, the main objective obviously was to ensure that we can get a stable flight, especially in subsonic region. So we have some methods that we can scale this up to a hypersonic flight.
And I have no doubt that Sierra Space is going to lead the industry because of the outside-the-box thinking. They are able to conduct an operation like this at this magnitude safely, successfully, and they're willing to learn from their mistakes. So it's been a pleasure working with Sierra Space.
When you look at what Sierra Space does, we're not a launch company. We're launch vehicle agnostic. We're a space company. And part of that is a logistics company. So we need to be the guys on the third side of that logistics train. There's launch, on orbit, and return. This technology puts us into the game of return. And this is how we change the game, is through technologies like these.
Oh yeah, Sierra Space is part of the conjoined triangles of success, guys. They're part of they're going to make the box. Yeah, Richard, we're going to make the box, I'm afraid. So, Porch, nice. So that supply drops from space, though. The look on your face was priceless. Thanks for that. Thanks for that. Yeah, sure. For democracy. Yeah, they're supply drops from hypersonic. I mean, you could get pretty good cross range with that guy was talking about the rudder on the weighted side. You could steer that. Yeah, you can modulate angle of attack with a weighted, with an asymmetric mass on a symmetrical shaped design. That's totally doable. They did that during the Apollo program. That's how they steer capsules. That's how NASA and SpaceX and everybody else that uses capsules steer them back to a precise location. The capsule is actually weighted on one side, right? But the shape is symmetrical. So when you turn it, one side wants to go, the higher mass side wants to go first. So you can actually change your angle of attack by rolling. You can get pretty dang accurate cross range when you're doing something like that. The thing I'm wondering about is that you're going to need a constellation of these things in varying inclinations to be able to send this every time. Those things would need to be in a constellation like Starlink if you wanted to be able to get any payload down anywhere at any time. And what's going to deorbit this? This is for Amazon same minute shipping. Okay. 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 Doesn't look like it can carry that much. What will turn the tide of war in a package like this? Okay, all systems. I got a better idea. Here's my idea. All right. We take that and we attach a nuke to it. Right? It comes back from space. And instead of landing near our guys, it lands near their guys. And then we blow it up. You think that's been done before? I mean, I've seemed to recall something that's very similar to that, but I don't remember what it is. EJ, I just realized some days ago that you are a big guy. Okay. Shall we play a game? How about a nice game of chess? It's the only way to be sure, Lurker. That's right. Forge, I don't know what this is. It looks like a vacuum cleaner with some solar panels attached to the side, to be honest with you. I mean, I just want to open the bar on Mars. Everybody wants to open the bar on Mars. Huh. Huh. Georgia Lucas, don't kill me. Right? Kill them first. They're the one that's trying to make it look like your thing. Can we open a bar on Mars for the ladies with three... Sure. Sure. Bob Iger is coming. That is... Bob Iger, no. So what is this? Red wire? Or introducing the SaberSat orbital drone, a new breed of satellite offering high-resolution imagery and resilient communications. It's designed for performance, endurance, and cost effectiveness. Nice word salad, dudes. This is my satellite. It's brand new, and it can take pictures of things. It's awesome in every way that I want it to be. We will change the industry because it's so good. Next. So Vast announced this. What do we got here? What do we got? What's that you got there? All right. Announcement. Haven 1 to be the world's first commercial space station connected by Starlink satellites. Yes. Cool. It looks like the Vast space station will have lasers on it. The Starlink optical stuff. Cool. That's pretty neat, man. Vasta is part of the commercial low Earth orbit destinations program, if I'm remembering right. Their space station modules will now have the optical component to Starlink, so it'll basically work like a Starlink satellite. That's pretty awesome. Also, lasers. Tessa, what do you say? Why do these companies keep talking about changing the industry? Why not perfect it instead? Because if you're not part of change, what are you doing? If you're not part of the change, you're them. You don't want to be them. They don't want you to be like that. You have to change or something to make the world a better place or whatever. I don't know. I agree with you for what it's worth. I don't know, man. It's just investor speak, dude. It's like dude, you remember when we watched that Dodge Charger unveiling? They unveiled the new Charger. And they were like, this is the charger they don't want you to have. They don't want you to have this charger, but they're gonna be mad when they figure out that you have this charger. This is the one they don't want you to have. I'm sitting there going like, who the hell is they? What are you talking about? Speak English. I don't know. What? Who are you? What are you saying? Who's they? Who doesn't want me to have this automobile? I'm confused. I am very confused. Speakers playing whining engines. Speakers playing the whining engines. Dude, any car that needs to do speakers to mimic the gasoline engine is that, dude, that's the cringiest thing I've ever heard in my life. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's awful. It's awful and I hate it. They don't want you to have this. Who the hell's they? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You don't want to be them. You are the main character. Dude, it's so bad. Arthur Morgan, are you still here? I don't mean to call out people that are lurking. Arthur, are you still here, Arthur? Oh, that'd be awesome, Tessa. Yeah, I saw that, T-Man. Interesting. Has anyone seen yet? Why do you want to go in there? There's nothing in there for you. If my car is going to make noise to simulate movement, it's going to be the noise from the Jetsons. That noise? Yeah, I agree. I agree. All right, more space news. Check this out. Gavin Cornwell posted this. If any aerospace companies were interested in building a drone ship, the list of options is growing. SpaceX currently uses barges Marmac 302, 303, and 304 from McDonough Marine Service. Photo credit. The company has completed Marmac 305, 306, and 307 is coming soon. Gotcha. Did you see that? Got the bug, dude. Got the bug. You think I'm kidding? I picked that sucker right out of thin air. Pick that sucker. Look out, man. I could have chopped your head off right there. Eat it for power? You will eat the bugs. Is that a tick? No, it's a mosquito. I need gopher chucks. So, that's actually pretty cool. Marmac 306. So if you don't know what the Marmac barges are, those are the autonomous Space Force drone ships. Those are the things that SpaceX lands their boosters out on in the ocean. Now, Gav posted this. Gav is a maritime connoisseur, right? He's a space maritime connoisseur. But if we go down here... Kiko replied to him. That guy, oh. Oh. Didn't we say in the past that drone ships were the bottleneck for Falcon 9 reuse at this point? It's not actually Falcon 9. It's the fact that it takes like 2 weeks for it to come back in when being towed on a barge. Yeah, go Blue Spoon. Yeah, indeed. That's interesting. You said it was second stages. No, I didn't, Katra. I said second stages aren't the bottleneck because the factory is just cranking them out and they can switch to first stages. You misunderstood. I did not say that. I know I didn't. The bottleneck is drone ships. It's always been drone ships. Yep. We need drone speedboats. Well, the drone ships could autonomously come back in on, but they won't actually. The Port Canaveral won't, and Port of Long Beach won't have an autonomous ship enter the harbor. Yeah, enter their harbors respectively. Something about an autonomous ship potentially losing power and crashing into something. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do. I had more faith in you. I had more faith in you. You broke my heart. I know it was you. You broke my heart. You broke my heart, Fredo. Is there any way to sugarcoat this? What is that, Forge? What do you want me to see here? Ooh. Yeah, I'm gonna go out and say, go out on a limb here and say that that's probably not good for it. They could just cross that bridge when they get there. Yeah, that's probably not good for it. You know, I think it might be broken right in this area here. Not here or here so much, but right there. I think it might be missing something. That looks expensive. Oh. 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 That's a great shirt hired. Oh. Oh. Hey, the Vienna insurance people right now are like, yes. Awesome. Oh, that's bad. That Tommy likey. Tommy want wingy. That, it looks like it was backing up. In this thread, take it for what it's worth. Somebody said that they've been told the maintenance parked the aircraft here, but forgot to set the parking brake in chocks. And the wind. Oh God, I hope that's not true. I hope that's fake. Oh. Someone's getting fired. Just remember, you can screw up at work, guys, or you could be that guy. Isn't that like the first thing you do when you park the plane? Yeah. Yeah. So, last bit of news here. Yesterday was the solar eclipse. A lot of people experienced totality. We actually got a good bunch of it here. I got 90% or like 95% partiality. I know that's not totality. I know there's a difference. I get it. I'll catch the next one, okay? Whenever that may be. Now, check this out. There were a lot of awesome views out there. A lot of awesome pictures from people. But I personally think this one kind of takes the cake for the best pictures of the eclipse, or at least some of the best pictures. How about this? Oh, that's good. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty good. This guy flipped the footage and it looks cooler. Who flipped the footage? Let me see. Mech Design TV. All right, what is this? Okay. Oh. All right. Look at that. That is very, very cool. Yeah, okay. Okay. All right. All right. All right. Yep. Why is there turbulence on the satellite? Starlink satellites are orbiting around in an area where they're skirting the top of the atmosphere. So they need thrusters on board. Very, 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 very light thrusters, but they need thrusters on board to maintain their orbit. That's why it looks like it's floating on the ocean. Yeah. Fun fact. That's what I mean about satellite, the Starlink satellites jumping. If SpaceX stopped launching Starlink satellites right now, in 5 years, there'd be no Starlink network. True story. It needs to be constantly maintained. And that is a very good example of exactly what I'm talking about. Look at the solar panel. Pretty cool, huh? Discover. All right. Let's see. What else do we got? This was a great shot. What else? On the indie subreddit. Yo. Yo. That's pretty rad, man. What the actual frick? That's wild, man. Someone did an eclipse picture with a Game Boy, Halsey? That's nuts. Let's go over here. What else do we got? Okay. So that eclipse was awesome. If it's one thing that I kind of realized is that, yeah, we definitely got to hit totality next time. So I know when the next eclipses are. The next one in the U.S., I think, is in 2045, I think. But the next one in general is going to be in Spain in a couple of years. So you got to show S's. Oh. Shondo. That's pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty neat. What's that? Oh, SU-47 testing. Cool. Time lapse from the museum in Dayton.
Agree that this is one of the best things that we've ever gotten here in Dayton. In Dayton in particular.
Dude, see, that's what's strange, man. It looks like this one is from Greg.
I'm from Colombia, and in Colombia,
Whoa.
when you say that there are gonna be like eclipses,
Freaking
you don't
Greg,
see them
though.
clearly as here.
Dude.
It was amazing.
I was like, it's like a mini festival
All right.
happening. It's just like the sense of community is fantastic. Yeah, we'd do it again in a heartbeat.
Really cool. I've always like heard about solar eclipses and like just seeing like other people get to witness them.
Dude, that's what it looks like, man. It looks like the sun's out, but it isn't. I'm telling you, we had partiality and it looked like this. That's what it looked like outside. It looked like it was daytime outside, but it wasn't. It was very strange.
In the direction, right? And then
Oh, Greg, ever your follower, Greg?
super
Greg's a good buddy of
awesome,
mine.
Kinda like
Yeah,
snakes on the ground,
I've
you know?
rated him many times.
Yeah, it was just there's
It's
so much
so
to
weird,
experience in a
dude.
short amount of time, but it's
Yeah,
really cool.
look.
We are so lucky. In particular. In Dayton.
And one of the best life experience we
Yeah.
have here.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I'm from Colombia, and in Colombia,
Oh, nice,
when
Gaben. There
they
you
say
go.
that there are gonna be like eclipses, you don't see them clearly as here. It was amazing.
That's so weird.
I was like, it's like a mini
That
festival.
confuses the
Seeing, like,
frick out of the
this-
animal. Yeah. Whoa. Yeah, Jay, right? Yeah, the birds, dude. Even where I was in partiality, the birds stopped chirping. They like the animals thought it was nighttime. That's just it was weird, man. It was weird. It was absurdly quiet during the day. You could see all that with the Mark 1 eyeball. You told me that already. The other day. I hear Matt actually got to go outside for a few minutes during the day. Oh, yeah? Complete mission. L70 mission is complete from ULA. Good. Good. Needs reiterating? Fair. Fair. That's just... Dude, that's wild. And also, let's just... I just want to sit here and ponder the fact for a second that we actually can... With the little stupid video camera, we can actually look at planets and stuff. It's like actually a thing, which is very weird. We can actually look at the sun, which is pretty cool. I wonder if that thing can image the moon. I mean, I don't see why it couldn't, right? Like, path of the 2045 eclipse Reno. Let me see. Oh, wow. Oh, we're just going to have to go down to Florida. Hopefully I finally have a residence down there at that point. If I don't have a residency in Florida in 2045, we got some big problems. The rider bottom jeans, states with the fur, with the gator. What? The problem with seeing space stuff isn't the size, it's how dim it is. Is that a... Never mind. Never mind. Anyway, the eclipse was awesome. We got some really good footage of it. And, yeah, if you saw it, yeah, then you know what I'm talking about it. Well, you know what I'm talking about. 2045, it might not be there. Bro, the Netherlands has been fighting the sea for thousands of years. Okay? Do you think that Florida man is going to let the ocean beat him? Florida man, the guy that likes wrestling creatures in water. That's not happening. It's not happening. Do you think Florida man will actually commit to a solution that's not harebrained? Yes. By accident. I'm saying that with absolute conviction. Probability states that that probably shouldn't happen. But Florida man perseveres in ways that you don't understand, man. You don't understand Florida man until you live there, right? Florida man will find a way. Like Florida, all Florida will be underwater. There'll just be a house that's anchored, and Florida man will be out there sitting on the porch with his gator friends, you know, with the banjo going dung 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 dung. 13 years. Sorry, no, you're sadly right, dude. Florida will find a way. Okay. It'll just look like Stiltsville in Miami, Denny. Florida finds a way. I posted a really nice eclipse photo from Nova Scotia, bud, in Discord for you under general. Oh, yeah, bud. From Nova Scotia, bud. Oh, yeah. Ooh. Eagle, that's a good picture, too. Damn, son. Damn, son. I'm getting to it, Creeper. I'm trying to get it, but people want to keep talking about the sun getting eclipsed by the moon. No, it's the suppression filter, dude. It doesn't come through. It doesn't come through, but you can hear it right now. Dancing out loud. Have you figured out a way to make your own solar eclipse so you can stop stealing NASA's content? I can't believe that, dude. I can't believe somebody came in here and actually said that. You remember that? That was a good one. That was a good one. Yeah. Yeah. Now, what happened is some guy came in here and was like, your logo is too much like NASA's. You're stealing their content. Who gave you permission to do that? I'm like, NASA did when they came in and said keep doing what you're doing during the Perseverance launch in 2020. I'm pretty sure that's about as close as of an endorsement you're going to get. And then the guy didn't think I would have an answer for it, which is super funny to me. Guy didn't think I would have an answer, so he somehow pivoted to I'm stealing NASA's content because I'm filming the solar eclipse. Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah, I can't sleep. Khakis. Yeah, the guy was really mad. I don't think that was a troll, dudes. I think the guy tried to come in with the gotcha, and I was like, reverse Uno card. Bitch. Yeah, actually, it's possible. I reverse Uno carded him pretty hard. It was pretty awesome. NASA actually made the moon. Thank you very much. Yeah, no, Alex, it's all right. It's all right. If you're gonna be, if you're gonna troll, be good at it, please. Put some thought into it. Come here to troll, and I have an answer for it. All right, whatever. Not gonna lie, I do accidentally click on NASA's Twitch stream when we both are live. But I mean to click yours. All right. Huh. Interesting, Nova. Your mom's a troll. Got him. All right. Anyway. All right. We're reeling it back in. Reeling it in. All right. Polaris Dawn news. This is an update from Rook here. Getting much closer. CEIT, aka test drive complete. Dragon TVAC testing in a week. Crew EVA TVAC testing in 2 weeks. I don't know what TVAC means. EVA suit reveal, about 6 more weeks of the simulation campaign. Then quarantine and then a summer launch. This is for the Polaris Dawn mission, which will be the first commercially funded EVA that should be happening in the summer. Thermal vacuum. Yeah, that makes more sense. Not based on the worm. Dude, I put that logo as my logo. Rain, I think I did that sometime in 2012. 2012. Maybe we should change. Maybe we should change it. Maybe that guy was right. Maybe I should just change it to me going, you know? Would that be good? But will the vacuum bathroom work when it's exposed to the vacuum? They could make a black hole. Nah, it's an institution now. Okay. Are you telling me that this is not an official NASA stream? No, it's not. You know how you can tell? I can say butthole on it and see, we're still here. You wouldn't hear that on this ain't your pappy's NASA stream, boy. I like the logo. It encompasses your content perfectly. Thank you. Butt connector. In your opinion, what are the changes needed to Dragon to support a medium Earth orbit launch in an EVA? Shouldn't be much, dude. There's probably some minor modifications. But yeah, I don't shouldn't be much. Vacuum bathroom in the vacuum counts as dividing your butt cheeks by 0. I don't think that's right. All right. Yeah. Let's just here look at these pictures from Max over at NSF. Oh. Watch out for your butthole math, sir. No, you won't. Prominent. No, you won't. Oh, Complex 34, man. This is where Apollo 1 happened. Chad has reached low butt orbit. You know Space News is good when this has devolved into poop jokes. What's that, Mason? Oh, geez. I know that if you clean a vacuum, you become a vacuum cleaner. Made a logo mock-up for you.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Keep that. Hey, Kender VX, thanks for the prime sub, man. All right. That's going to do it for Space News. That's going to do it for Space News. I think we're good here. I think we're done. Oh boy. I think we're done. Have I seen the KSC flyover vid? No, I'm good. Good. Yeah, maybe hired. Yep. All right. That's going to do it. The Acme Rocket Consultant Corporation. 1-800 doot doot doot. You are done. Yeah. All right. That's going to do it for Space News. Good Space News today. Good to be back. But we do have much more stream. Please don't get up. All right. Thank you, buddy. Love your streams. Greetings from Germany. Dankeschön, mein Freund. Dankeschön. Ist gut, ja? Wunderbar. Like and subscribe and hit the bell. The bell. If you don't like that, you can use this to find the missile to know where it is, so you know where it isn't. Oh, wow. Before you go, I'm not going anywhere. There's still plenty of stream left. Party's over. Can't be party's over. It's not even 8 o'clock, you dummy. The upcoming ExoMars mission set from the Kennedy Space Center between October and December 2028. Sounds like SpaceX has won a contract to launch ESA's ExoMars mission, likely aboard a Falcon Heavy in 2028. Yeah, that's speculation, but that'd be cool. One more thing. Have you seen Three Body Problem? I made this. People who know. I'm in the people who know category. Also, that's also, Mason, that's clearly not the Panama Canal. There's no point in the Panama Canal that gets that skinny unless it's near a lock, in which case you'd have witnesses. Just pointing it out. That show got really weird. Really weird at the end. What's this last thing? Oh, yeah. Yeah, here we go. This is what we're going to end this on. This is what we're going to end this one on. Look at that. This is coming from Gav again. What do we got? Look at that. Balls. Fuel is stored there, you know. Fuel is stored in the balls, Fuel is stored in the they're radars. They're radomes. Yeah. The Starlink Gateway domes. Yeah. Yeah, but also yeah, Einstein said that. Yep. Radars are stored in the balls. Yes. Mm-hmm. You know what? You know what we're doing? When did Gav post that? All right. Radars are stored in the balls. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Yep. All right. Yep. 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 All right. That's a good send off there for Space News. Let's switch back over into workers and resources. Oh, in other news, I may have bought a Hemi for the Coronet, by the way. So, yeah, Space News is done, and we will go back to the Chernobyl Republic.